Hello, everyone. It is that time again. And by that time, I mean things are difficult. And when times are tough, um, I guess that really shows whether or not you can make it. And I have a lot of responsibilities, I guess, to do the right thing. And this is based on like my identity as a person who does the right thing. And there's a lot of right things to do. Uh, and sometimes I'm not motivated to do some of them. And sometimes I may not. We will see. I don't really keep track of the things I don't do. I usually keep track of things I do do. But there's still a lot to do. And it's always about whether or not on your bad days you still choose to do the thing that must be done. And for instance, uh, and perhaps incredibly relatable to me right now, you are wanting to get good grades, or at least pass your classes. And in order to do that, you have to turn in your homework. And in order to turn in your homework, you have to study and do good on exams and all that stuff to pass, your class. And that's difficult because you're covering new material and some of the old stuff that they expect you to know you're pretty rusty at, and so it just takes even more time to get things done. And then at the advent of AI, it's all so easy to just completely disregard the whole learning process and still get the A. But unfortunately, I am resolved to not do that. And I think the thing that I'm missing, as always, is people to help me do the things I need to get done. And among that large laundry list of things I must do in order to uphold my identity, the one thing that I've lost is people. At least dynamics that were fruitful for my growth, learning, and all that jazz. But I have to find some new people in order to help me pass my classes. And I'm known. I'm known to be good at that, right? I'm known to be good at finding new people. People are known to be good at finding new people. But here is the interesting thing. I've already done this once before, and now I must do it again. But I am still choosing in a lot of interactions to not either start a conversation or interact. And among my reasons is that once you have a relationship with a person, that you are there for in their sphere of influence, you could say, in the fact that I guess in the same way that habits never quit, so a smoker is still going to crave, given the right environment. I am still going to be in contact, acquaintance with that person. But here's my argument against that, in the sense that over time, environments change, and they are going to be useful to me now as to help me develop and learn the material whenever we study or something. And they don't have to be a particularly incredible person. They just have to be a person who shows up to study, because that's kind of what it is. And while there are many resources I can use to do that whole studying thing, parts of what I'm doing does not have that available to me. And furthermore, to use big boy words, the people I study with are my peers and the people that help me learn through other means are not. And that it's not something I'm used to. And therefore, I don't do that. I'm sure that none of that made sense. But back to difficult things. I really don't want to run today. I had a habit of waking up at 6 a.m. to run. And then, because that was a new environment to me, I don't get up at 6 a.m. a lot, then it was easy to start the habit of running, or at least to start running, because, you don't have any other things you're going to be doing at that time, specifically whenever you set out a time to do that thing then. But now, as I have gotten back into my free-flowing way of doing things, of completing my homework just before it's due, and not really putting any time to study, just doing what must be done as I do, unfortunately, may not work out in the long run. I won't have these concepts so easily available to me if they aren't properly ingrained in my memory. And I've been learning about learning. And the way that I have been learning is not conducive to actually being able to use these concepts later down the line. Of course, I feel like many of these things that I'm doing are not going to be related to the work I do in the future, and that's so. I'm still going to try and learn them because learning is cool. I'm a lifelong learner. Yay. So things are difficult. And more than anything, people choose the path of least resistance, and I'm not setting up an environment that helps me choose the things I need to do in the easiest fashion. Especially with that damn phone. available to me. And I recently purchased Fury. Very good game. And even though in the last day I've only spent like an hour and a half playing, I have the brain worms to tell me that I need to be doing something else. And to be honest, with all the things that I must be doing, my brain worms might not be wrong this time. So, I need to give myself the environment that does that, and that environment is people. And that's why I need new people, so that we can have a steady relationship and further my education. And for running, I need a motivator. Maybe a person. I do have that person, but scheduling conflicts keep occurring. And maybe instead of a person, I'll need my intrinsic motivation. Unfortunately, that is nowhere to be found nowadays. As you know, I am sad. But as long as I keep doing this, even during the days that are most difficult, I will be the person who still runs every day and still films every day. And still turns their homework in on time. And still learns the material. Even though I really have been finding it difficult lately. If I keep it up, and I keep experimenting, and I try to work with people, then maybe, things will work out. And that's not true. Everything is going to work out. Everything always does work out. And it'll work out even better when I still choose to do the hard things and the difficult times. But to be honest, these hard things that I'm doing in these difficult times are not particularly hard. Everything that I've been learning has been building off of everything else that I've learned. And so it's just getting this old dog to do new tricks, and that is difficult. But I can do it. And I don't need to be perfect. Even though it is extremely uncomfortable to not be. There will be times when I must fail, and I put something in my to-do list yesterday that I can't do in a day, but it's to reframe my perspective away from being very close-minded in what counts as good or what is productive, as I seem to use that word a lot, actually. Someone pointed out to me that may not be the best word to use when referring to spending time with people. They said, spending time with people isn't productive, it's enjoyable. And there's that nuance there that is, I guess, gonna better my mental health. But honestly, I've been watching this YouTube thing not work out with 0 views in like the last 4 videos, and a lot of things just don't seem to be going my way. But thankfully, though, they are entirely mental. Maybe not the YouTube thing, but honestly, I can just ignore that. So, it is mental. But what I mean by this is that whenever it's all mental, bro, it's also all kind of me. And if it's all kind of me, that means I can all kinds of change it because it's, from my view. And so I can choose to not look for a sense of validation from my 0 view videos and not be disheartened or see it as such a bad thing to be sad and unmotivated. And having the foresight, or whatever sight it is, to know that there will be dark times and brighter days. That's a quote by yours truly, and I think about it quite a lot. And it's quite useful, I'd say, to know that while today, this week, this month, this year even can suck, there will be a day, an hour, a minute that will not. It all depends on how you look at it. While I'm still grappling with death, it's comforting to know that these people who are double my age are still enjoying life and still kicking, I guess. And to imagine that from the age of 10 to 20, you are an entirely different person. And from the age 20 to 30, you are an entirely different person. But I don't have really the experience of 10 to 20. I wasn't really thinking of that change. And maybe whenever from 20 to 30, I'll realize this is what a decade feels like. And from that, I'll be able to speculate how much time ahead of me there really is. But also, my 20 to 30 could be just as different as my 10 to 20. And I may feel like I have no idea what it was like 10 years ago, because I have no idea what it was like when I was 10, and I didn't, think about, how are you going to feel when you're 20? And time works differently when you're really young, because, well, you don't have the experience, and it's honestly everything's very new. Everything is a new experience. But then you get into the habitual part of your life, where everything you do is because of the experiences you've already had. And so you'll no longer be looking at life through the lens of a new receiver, but through the lens of all of these past experiences. And being able to cultivate a positive mindset when looking at these new experiences, or even habituated ones, is going to drastically improve your life. And these small things that I'm doing today, such as filming this video, such as running whenever, oh my god, I don't really feel like it. And I really thought that, oh man, I was just tired, and I wasn't, really feeling it because I was so tired. And well, now after 2 nights of great rest, I realized that it's not the lack of sleep. But something else that will need to be speculated on and reflected. And I don't think it's something that I can inherently change in a week. I think it's another thing that must be built. Such as whatever this YouTube channel becomes, and whatever my running exploits get me. And it's gonna be built on people, as it always is. I just need to find a good dynamic. Just find a person who I have good chemistry with, so that we can do homework effectively, and build other connections so that I can do other things that I want to do, like have new experiences. Since every individual is unique, then the new experiences that come from meeting someone is, well, intrinsic upon meeting them because they are unique. And so, well, I need to go meet some new people, is what it comes down to. And I need to be open to meeting new people. And whenever there is the opportunity to do as such, I should act on it instead of not, and waiting around, and just refusing to participate. So, that will come to a close as my longest video yet. And I think this is some fire. Unfortunately, I'm gonna spend the next 24 minutes watching this over and realizing that, wow, was I just really rambling, or do I actually have a point to this? Anyways, I hope you have found a point to it. I sure have. I mean, I gotta meet new people, brah. Anyways, toodles.